Well, Iowa farmers are in the midst of planting their soybeans. We'll be keeping a really close eye on what's happening in Switzerland this weekend.
That's where top U.S. and Chinese officials will meet for trade talks.
China buys more than all the other countries combined.
Farmers' plans are made years in advance, and changes are not made quickly. Regardless of the tariff, seeds like this will be planted in the fields.
While they continue to wait on planting, they're also waiting, hopefully, on good news to come out of trade talks between the U.S. and China this weekend.
China just dumped American farmers faster than Trump dumps wives. Billions in agricultural contracts canceled overnight, leaving silos stuffed with soybeans nobody wants, and farmers scratching their heads wondering what happened to their retirement plan. Meanwhile, our orange ex-president was caught completely flat-footed. The guy who claimed he could win trade wars easily is now watching his rural base drown in unsold crops. Remember when he said China would buy more soybeans than we could produce? Yeah, about that. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Ever wonder what happens when billions of soybeans suddenly have nowhere to go?
There's uncertainty among Wisconsin farmers as China raises tariffs on U.S. imports to 125%.
Soybean Association says there is unease. China is the largest importer of U.S. soybeans. 67 million bushels from Wisconsin are exported across the world.
The top U.S. farm export to China is soybeans. Fox 6's Ashley Sears shows us the impact right here on the Badger State.
American farmers found out the hard way when China ghosted them without even a goodbye text. One morning, these farmers woke up to discover China had canceled contracts worth billions. It's like checking your phone to see your biggest customer just blocked you on everything, except this customer bought half your stuff. The aftermath was messy. Warehouses and silos filled up faster than Trump's diaper at a chili cook-off. Mountains of soybeans just sat there collecting dust like those exercise bikes everyone buys and never uses.
So now we're hopeful that the administration can go back to China and use that initial trade deal and then build upon.
We want to make sure there's fair trade for everyone and every product. We're hoping that there's a way that that can be done without hurting acres.
If we can see an increased usage through biofuels and other markets here domestically, that can help mitigate some of any potential loss. There's different tools that farmers can use. We might also make different planting decisions depending on which crops we think might be more impacted or less impacted.
Farmers watched helplessly as prices dropped by over 50% overnight. That's basically watching your retirement account turn into grocery money in the blink of an eye. The numbers were brutal. Losses hit more than $25 per acre across major soybean states. Farm profits went negative faster than Trump's IQ in a science quiz. One farmer in Iowa told me, "I was planning to buy a new tractor this year. Now I'm wondering if I can keep the farm." These weren't just paper losses. This was real money that real people counted on to feed their families. Meanwhile, the government response crawled along slower than a turtle with a hangover. The Department of Agriculture basically sent thoughts and prayers while farmers watched their livelihoods crumble. Their initial statements amounted to, "We're looking into it." Super helpful when your bank account is emptier than Trump's promise to release his tax return.
Grant Kimberly is a soybean farmer and the Iowa Soybean Association's Senior Director of Market Development. He is hoping weekend trade talks between the U.S. and China are the first step toward rolling back tariffs, but they offer nothing close to China's buying power.
China is the largest purchaser of U.S. soybeans. They're the largest purchaser of soybeans in the world. The tariffs, I think, are set at around 145%.
Kimberly says other international soybean markets like Brazil are starting to open.
The damage spread beyond just farmers. Equipment purchases got canceled. Processing plants laid off workers. Small businesses in farm towns suffered as farmers pinched pennies. The local John Deere dealer in Nebraska said they went from selling 10 tractors a month to 0. The diner on Main Street lost half its customers. This wasn't just a farm problem. Entire communities felt the pain. While American farmers desperately searched for new buyers, Brazil and Argentina swooped in like hungry vultures. They signed long-term deals with China that American farmers had spent decades building. Brazil was now set set to ship over 31 million metric tons of soybeans to China in a single quarter, breaking all previous records. And Trump's reaction when his rural base started drowning. A bunch of all-caps tweets blaming everyone but himself. He fired off angry messages faster than he fires cabinet members. But actual solutions, those were scarcer than facts at his rallies. The orange turd promised easy wins but delivered nothing but excuses while farmers lost everything. You know that feeling when you call tech support and they tell you to restart your computer? That was basically the government's solution to billions in lost farm money. Turn it off and on again, farmers. Problem solved. The White House response was a masterclass in not having a clue. Their first statement to farmers was basically, tough luck, hang in there. Trump's agriculture secretary went on TV looking like he'd just been asked to explain quantum physics. He kept saying, China will come back, they need our soybeans. Meanwhile, Chinese ships were already docking in Brazil, while farmers watched their bank accounts shrink faster than Trump's crowd sizes when fact checkers show up. Government officials played the blame game. They pointed fingers at China instead of offering help. It was like firefighters arguing about who started the fire while your house turns to ash. One official actually said farmers should be patient. Easy to say when you're not the one losing your family farm. Those emergency relief packages, they covered pennies on the dollar of actual losses and showed up weeks late. Farmers got checks that wouldn't even cover their fuel costs while watching their crops rot. It was almost funny if it wasn't so sad. Remember when Donnie Diapers bragged he could win trade wars easily and quickly? His face when reporters asked about crashing soybean prices looked like someone trying to solve algebra after skipping math all year. Pure panic behind those squinty eyes. Then came the big $12 billion bailout package. Farmers quickly did the math and realized it covered less than 20% of their actual losses. It's like offering a band-aid to someone who just lost an arm. One farmer in Iowa told reporters, "This isn't even enough to cover my interest payment." Political support in farm states crumbled faster than a stale corn muffin. Trump's approval ratings in rural counties dropped by double digits in just weeks. Those red MAGA hats weren't looking so fashionable anymore when you can't afford your mortgage payment. American agriculture lost an estimated $23 billion in direct export value, plus another $15 billion in related economic activity vanished from rural communities. That's $38 billion gone, enough to build Trump's wall twice over. The crisis showed how completely unprepared Grumpy Trumpy was for China's strategic move, despite intelligence agencies warning about it for months. Farmers who once proudly displayed Trump flags on their tractors were asking, if he's such a great deal maker, why am I sitting on mountains of soybeans nobody wants to buy? The great agricultural dump of 2025 wasn't just about soybeans and pork. It showed what happens when tough talk crashes into reality. Farmers got screwed while politicians just talked and talked. China isn't coming back anytime soon. They're building new partnerships with Brazil and Argentina that could last decades. American farmers wonder if they've been permanently sacrificed so Trump could sound tough on TV. Next time someone says trade wars are easy to win, remember those mountains of rotting soybeans. Farmers learned the hard way that in today's world, everyone's connected. When Donnie Diapers plays tough guy, it's not him who suffers, it's the people who grow our food.